Hi everyone and welcome, this is the Apostate Prophet. A doctor called Haitham Talaat made a video addressing me, the final prophet. It is very important to stress that he is a doctor, so no one misses this very important detail. The thumbnail says, fake atheist. What does that even mean? I fake being an atheist? I'm not really an atheist? I am fake and an atheist? Fake Muslim. The video is titled Apostate Prophet, Why He Doesn't Criticize Other Religions Besides Islam. Debunking Secularism. Secularism? Okay, whatever.
If you have the religion in your mind at the center of values, then all suspicions related to why there is penalties in Islam will fall.
Wait, why are we watching a preview?
When our Prophet judged Jews in an adultery case, he asked them, "What do you have in the Bible?" They hit the verse of stoning. Shall stone her with stones that she die. Thank you, apostate. You affirm that Islam is the only right message now.
Oh, I affirm that Islam is the only right message. I'm very excited about this. Oh, my brain is already losing blood.
How you are an atheist and believe in humanity in the same time? You have two contradictory religions. The French Muslim is committed to the secular constitution, even in personal affairs. Those atheists don't notice the truth that Islam is a religion, a state, and legislation. There is an Islamic system, just like secularism. They want secularism to be the only legislator.
They want secularism to be the only legislator.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you.
But as an atheist, I should criticize all religions, right? No.
You will not do that because you are just a mercenary.
Even if it's only $1, I appreciate it very, very much. We are 1 minute into the video. 1 minute. Actually, just a few seconds, it just started. Before that was a long preview. And the first thing that he does is to claim that I'm doing all of this for money. I'm a mercenary. See, it is very normal that people who are proponents for an Islamic system make such accusations. That people who go out to inform and to argue do all of that just for the money. In Islamic culture, in an Islamic system, in Islamic environments, and I really don't want to speak about this very assertively, but now I feel forced to, information is not valued at all. In the West, it is very common to support people who go out there to spread information or to make social commentary, to advocate for change. It is a very normal thing. It has been part of this culture for a very long time. This is how the Western world has made so much progress in the last few centuries, because information has been valued. Intellectual work is valued. The same does not exist in the Islamic world. They value authoritative preachers, apathy, regress. Thanks for making this clear, doctor.
It isn't of wisdom to lose the source of your income by criticizing Christianity. It hurts your cash.
See, this doctor could go ahead and talk about the subject matter, Islam, the thing that we talk about. What he does instead is attack me personally and make accusations. Doctor, as long as people like you keep doing stuff like that, you're just digging your own grave and not convincing anyone. We are still not at a point where we are 100% sure about the origins of us and our universe, the future of it, the shape of it, or what lies beyond it. At this point, it would be arrogant of me or anyone else to criticize and insult people for their beliefs and convictions.
Nice. Okay, so long as the atheist is the weak, why is he fighting the religion of Islam?
Weak? Islam punishes apostates with death. Islam punishes apostates with death. Islam punishes apostates with death.
Why the Islamic punishments? Why the penalty of apostasy? It is almost the most notorious suspicion.
Suspicion?
The atheists call for in the East and West. Those atheists don't notice the truth that Islam is a religion, a state, and legislation. There is an Islamic system, just like secularism.
Oh no, I say that all the time. Thanks for confirming. Islam is a political system, an ideology, not just a religion. A political system from the 7th century that tries to rule in our time.
In the secular system, there is a state and legislation. Secularism legislates laws that criminalize those who comes out on one of the foundations of secular regime. As an example, the Patriot Act in secular countries like the USA, which means stopping and criminalization of anything that could undermine the secular system.
Are you kidding me? The Patriot Act is a measure to make it more possible to act quickly and freely upon high suspicions of terrorism. And it was introduced after 9/11. You know, that one incident where your brothers in faith had a plane accident. What does that have to do with secularism? What is this guy's obsession with secularism? I don't even talk about it.
All the armies of secular countries move to stop an attack or likely threat against secular conceptions. In order to protect the secular system, millions of people have been killed. While I'm talking now, American military forces move with 10,000s of soldiers toward the Middle East for a likely military attack against Iran. Secularism burns the earth and annihilates whole nations just to protect secularism. Laws that protect the secular system are countless. Look how many Western countries force Muslim women to take off their veils now.
Oh, the burqa ban. Help him make a point.
Why? Because this piece of cloth could threaten the secular principles. Look at these fines imposed on Muslim women who put on their veils. The laws increase over time against veil.
And again, this is apparently a measure to protect secularism. No, it's that people don't want to see a piece of cloth walk around and feel threatened. I mean, your culture hasn't necessarily helped them feel safe.
Atheists and seculars don't see any problem with these laws, but they don't accept punishment for those who violate the Islamic law in Islamic countries.
Wow. He just equated the burqa ban to killing apostates from Islam and pointed out that if people don't have a problem with the burqa ban, they should also not have a problem with the fact that an Islamic system kills people who don't believe in it anymore. Okay. Obviously, you don't have to be very smart to be a doctor nowadays. You don't have to be very honest either.
The only atheists and seculars only accept punishment for those who violate the secular law. They want secularism to be the only legislator. They want secularism to be the only legislator.
What was that? What am I watching? Seriously. What am I watching? Seriously. Is this a parody? I really don't think I can do this to myself.
Islam is a religion, a state, a legislation. It has a system, rules and laws. It criminalizes whoever threatens its system or breaks its foundations.
Islam is a political system that criminalizes and punishes everyone who threatens its system and breaks its foundations. We are sitting here and watching someone explain to us why Islam has its political system and every right to kill people for the sake of protecting its system or them. Dear Western people, when you watch those movies, those dystopian movies where a future is depicted, where an oppressive regime oppresses its own people and convinces them that it is for their own good to protect them, you should think about the fact that such a dystopian scenario is not just fantasy. It exists, and it's also called Islam.
Islam has a right of legislation, just like secularism had the same right. The penalty of apostasy in Islam is to prevent and criminalize telling blasphemies and spreading suspicions among Muslims. This is in order to protect the right of Muslims to believe and not being misled out of their religion. Because losing people religion is worse than killing them. Losing the afterlife of people is worse than killing them.
Well, there you have it. Killing groups of people is justified according to this man. Killing in the name of Islam. Because the alternative is losing faith. Other people could lose faith, which is why the Islamic system has to protect faith by force, which includes punishing and killing people who could possibly make others lose faith.
Allah said in the Quran, وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ, and fitna is worse than killing. The temptation of Muslim out of his religion is worse than his killing. The temptation of Muslim out of his religion is worse than his killing. The World War II, in which 5% humans were annihilated. It was a war between atheists and agnostics.
World War II was a fight between agnostics and atheists. Rewrite your books, everybody.
But you can ask me, if you go to Europe and criticize Islam in public, they have no problem with that. And the same thing if you criticize Christianity. The answer is because the center in those countries is secularism, not religion. So criticize religion as you wish, but you cannot criticize secular foundations, or Patriot Act will with you.
What kind of world is this guy living in? Dear Arab listeners who listen to this guy, everyone over here who hears these words, who hears this doctor speak, is probably laughing right now, or thinking that he's on some weird drugs, or very crazy. You can fully criticize the secular foundations of the West without any problems. You have free speech in the West. You can say that the current system sucks and that you wish for a different system. Of course, you will probably be watched if you say that you want to replace the current system with an Islamic system, and you sound a bit angry while doing that. Because, excuse me, but proponents of political Islam haven't necessarily been very nice to the culture over here, and that's why no one trusts them. It is totally fine for people to wish for more Christianity in politics and the government. But sorry, people don't really tolerate an Islamic attitude that can come in forms of violence and terrorism, that can be very violent and propose concepts like what this guy is proposing. The killing of apostates, critics of Islam, atheists, gays, the mistreatment of women, and so much more. Okay, I'm serious. This is extremely painful to listen to. So let me just summarize the rest. He basically goes on saying that secularism has laws to protect itself, which is why it is normal that Islam has them too. What he does here is fabricate a sentiment about secularism in order to justify the barbaric nature of Islam. He then goes on and shows a part where I say, Judaism had initially a death penalty for people who abandoned Judaism and try to turn other Jews away as well. This rule was abandoned 2,000 years ago, when Rabbinic Judaism started to become the norm of Judaism, as it still is. 600 years before Islam introduced this ruling, and said that I just proved that Islam is the only right religion because other religions have changed. This is typical Islamic logic, which teaches that the book is the direct word of Allah, and every rule over every aspect of life of it has to be exactly preserved. Judaism and Christianity don't have such a mentality, because Christianity doesn't have a set political system, and Judaism was only made a complete law 2,000 years after it emerged. It evolved. It was shaped by scholarly commentary, because the Torah, which is full of stories but also law, was written by people with the inspiration of God, not like the Quran as a constitution for humans written by Allah. Islam is the religion, the political system that contradicts human nature and has no tolerance for change at all. Change, something natural in every human. He further says that atheists have no morals and that they are therefore bad and anti-humanistic in nature, which is incredibly stupid and a distortion of what an atheist really is. The reason I am called an atheist is that I don't believe in God or in Allah. That doesn't say anything at all about my set of morals and laws. I have ethics that I abide by, and I have good reasons to abide by those ethics. We evaluate and see what is good for us and for our children and for other people around us. We see how we can live together in a better way, how we can be productive, how we can make life better for ourselves as well as for others around us. This is how laws and systems are formed. The idea that atheists have no morals is age-old refuted thinking. But hey, I don't even talk about these things. And he keeps discussing how Islam is better than atheism, something I never talk about. He doesn't actually talk about where I am wrong about Islam and how Islam is good. His entire video revolves around fortifying his claim that Islam has a right to punish people, and that these punishments are the best thing because they come from Allah, as the Quran says, which is claimed to be from Allah. Therefore, it is okay to kill people who leave Islam, who speak it out, who criticize Islam. What this man is telling us is that if you stop believing in Islam at some point, and it can happen at any time because it is happening to so many right now, then in his ideal system, that many others like him propose as well, because it is among the fundamentals of Islam, you would be killed for not believing in Islam any longer and making that public. To him and others like him and the Islamic religion, your only value that keeps you alive is being a Muslim. Something you most probably didn't even have any choice in because you were born into a Muslim family. That is your only value, and if you lose that value, you should be killed. Do you see the cruelty and inhumanity in this? The barbarism? Can you really believe that this is just, that this is good, that this comes from an almighty creator of the universe who cares so much about you and gives you one life to not mess this up, and then makes someone kill you just to burn you in hell forever. This doctor is vile. I don't even know how he can come out here and advocate for a system in which a group of people would be persecuted and killed. Is he even allowed to do that? Would it be okay and allowed for me to advocate for a system in which Muslims are systematically persecuted and killed, eradicated? Not that I would do that, because I'm not such a barbaric scumbag. This is the evil ideology that we are facing and fighting. This is the dirty, barbaric, backward ideology that I chose to fight. Dr. Haitham Talaat, thank you for reminding me that my fight that I took on is a glorious fight against the biggest evil in our time. And thank you for showing everyone else. Thanks for spreading the message that Islam is a political ideology that doesn't really care about the individual because it can kill them in order to protect society, to protect faith. Because killing people isn't worse than losing faith. Everyone, thanks for bearing with me. People like this are why I want to be harsh and don't even care a bit about emotions. I'll see you soon. Thank you all so much, and stay away from Islam.